Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing this afternoon? Good, everybody's doing all right. Thank you for coming out this afternoon for this event. I think that also it seems that some old friends have had a chance to see one another and catch up, and also it looked like a couple of people were able to make new friends. My name is Jonathan McCoy, and I'm the Vice President of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County, and I'm also the chair of our COPE program. And our COPE program stands for Community Outreach Providing Empowerment. And I'll be your Masters of Ceremony this afternoon as we present our second annual. Last year was our first time that we had done the John Lewis Awards, and this is our second time. And again, I always tell the story for everyone to understand. The reason we do the John Lewis Awards is that we have been doing the Rosa Parks Award. And then we started to hear from men in the community and said, well, you don't have anything for us. Why don't you do an award for us? And so we talked about it, said, well, yeah, we should have something for the men in the community. And so the John Lewis Awards came about. And so the John Lewis Award really looks to honor men of our community, African-American men in our community who have worked to foster a culture of inclusion in the Asheville community. They've worked to achieve a just society for the disadvantaged. They exemplify a nonviolent philosophy in the pursuit of a better life for non-majority people. And they inspired direct action in the cause of social justice. Basically, they're role models. Role models not just by saying something, but also in their deeds, in their actions. Role models a lot of times aren't purposely trying to be an example, but by the way that they live, they are examples. And so that is the essence of the John Lewis Award, and that's who we were looking for. Who can we find in our community that exemplifies that? And needless to say, we had some honorees. We had some people names were sent in, and there are people, when I think about this, a lot of times you do work, and you don't know if anybody's noticing it. So the one thing I always want honorees to understand is people are noticing what you're doing. They might not come up to you and say so. You might think, man, nobody acts like they do. But you're making an impression, because if that wasn't the case, there wouldn't be this award, and you wouldn't be getting it. Also, I'd like to thank everyone that's here. Thank you for making and taking the time to come out here, to come down here, taking the time out of your day to celebrate these men, but also celebrate our community. That takes effort. That also takes commitment. That means that you have a vision of what it means to be a united community. And that's what the association is really working for. But I think I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about why it's important for us to have this John Lewis Award and understand why we named it the John Lewis Award. And understand why we had that criteria of who we're looking for, because it goes into the legacy of the man. John Lewis was born on February 21st, 1940, in a little town outside of Troy, Alabama. He was just at the end of his high school career when Brown versus Board was decided. And he always said he was upset that he was not able to go to an integrated K through 12 school. But right as Brown versus Board was happening and that change was going on, there was also something that was going on in Montgomery. In Montgomery, Alabama, from 1955 to 56, there was that bus boycott that was going on. And John Lewis heard the different sermons of Dr. King and started to read some of the things that King had written. And it inspired him. In fact, he wanted to go to school to Troy University, and he wanted to integrate Troy, and his parents talked him out of it. Said, well, you might want to, they told him he might need to calm down a little bit. But he went on, and he went up to Nashville, and he graduated from the American Baptist Theological Seminary, and Even before he graduated, though, as a student, he started to learn about nonviolent protests. He started to organize sit-ins at segregated lunch counters, and he started to get arrested in demonstrations. In fact, he left just before graduation to take part in the 1961 Freedom Rides. And for those that don't know, the Freedom Riders were young people. They were college-age students, mixed race. You had black and white students. You had from all different religions, Jewish, Baptist, Catholic, that went onto buses purposely to ride through the South, to go to segregated interstate bus terminals and force them to honor the federal law that they should be integrated. Buses were firebombed, riders were beaten, they were threatened, and sometimes arrested. And so John Lewis was part of that. He definitely took some beatings and also living with that fear. By 1963, he had became chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, better known as SNCC, which was organized, again, by college students to organize college students to protest. All across the South, they were the ones, SNCC were the ones that were organizing college students to do the lunch counter sit-ins and other demonstrations like that to push for integration. That same year, in '63, when he became chairman, Lewis was part of the planning group for the March on Washington. He's part of what they call the Big Six, the six members that planned that famous march where you had Dr. King and James Farmer and A. Philip Randolph and Roy Wilkins and Whitney Young. John Lewis was the youngest member of that planning group, and he was the youngest speaker at the March on Washington. And at that march, he said, "We all recognize the fact that if any racial or radical social, political, and economic change is going to take place in our society, the people, the masses, must bring them about." In 1965, him and Hosea Williams led the march to Selma, from Selma to Montgomery. The most famous part of that was what happened on March 7th of 1965 as they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And they were met by state troopers and local police and Klansmen and townspeople, and the marchers were set upon and beaten. John Lewis ended up getting his skull cracked like that. So when he always talked about he shed blood to vote, that's what they were marching for, he actually did shed blood. But the whole occurrence of that Bloody Sunday, as it became known, is what helped fuel and push the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And from that time on, John Lewis always worked to register voters and push the importance of participating in voting, especially as being citizens of this nation. 1981, he ran for city council in Atlanta and won. And in '86, he was elected to Congress, to the House of Representatives, for the Georgia 5th District, which represents Atlanta. And so John Lewis was a congressman from 1986 all the way till 2020, serving in that House. Some people might know, some young ones might be more familiar with seeing John Lewis lead a protest on the House floor in 2016. On June 12, 2016, there had been that mass shooting in Orlando. And John Lewis led 40 of his fellow Democrats to actually do a sit-in on the floor of the House. That was on June 22nd of 2016, trying to push for gun legislation. He said, "We have been quiet for too long. There comes a time when you have to say something, you have to make a little noise, you have to move your feet, and this is the time." Some of you might be more reminded or connected to John Lewis because he always thought that reading was important. And he worked to connect with the younger generation with the help of his staff members, and one that was one of our speakers last year at the breakfast, Andrew Iden, and he was here last year for our John Lewis Awards. Unfortunately, he had to speak somewhere else today, but he always wants to come back. But they worked together to actually create a graphic novel series called March that dealt with John Lewis' life of protest and marching through Selma and the sit-ins. They actually won the National Book Award. He received a lot of honors, and he always emphasized the importance of books in his life. He said, "I had a wonderful teacher in elementary school who told me, 'Read, my child, read.' And I tried to read everything. I love books." In 2019, he announced he had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and on July 17th of 2020 is when he passed away. During his life, Congressman Lewis had been honored numerous times. He had been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the NAACP's Springer Medal, the John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award for a Lifetime Achievement, and the Martin Luther King Jr. Nonviolent Peace Prize. He is the inspiration for this award, and we have looked for men who are living out that inspiration. And so today, I'd like to present 4 men who are actually doing that. These are our 2024 John Lewis Award honorees. Our first honoree is Mr. DeWayne Barton. DeWayne is a native of Asheville, North Carolina, who grew up in Washington, D.C. He's a Gulf War veteran. He attended Norfolk State University from 1996 through 1999, majoring in social work. He's the author of 2 books of poetry and has been involved in community and youth development for over 30 years. As a visual and performing artist, he is involved in environmental justice issues, both through his art and his community involvement. His mixed media found art installations have been featured at Duke University, the Smithsonian Institute's Museum of African American History and Culture, and the August Wilson Museum as part of Appalachian Artists Project. Appalachia refers to African Americans living in Appalachia, and it's a term originally coined by Frank X. Walker. DeWayne is the co-founder of both the Peace Gardens and Market and Green Opportunities, which are green jobs training programs. And in 2019, he was selected as a Robert Woods Johnson Culture of Health Leader. He's also the founder and CEO of Hood Huggers, Hood Huggers International and Hood Tours, which builds communications and connections and wealth using the arts, environment, and social enterprise. DeWayne was appointed by the governor to the board of the North Carolina Arts Council and is the current president of the Burton Street Community Association and a 2022 fellow with the Appalachian Regional Commission's Leadership Institute. Together with community partners, he is collaborating to build the Blue Note Junction, the region's only health and business incubator. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2024 John Lewis Award honoree, Mr. DeWayne Barton.
First, I want to thank all of the MLK Association for honoring me with this great award, great award. I think the name John Lewis in itself has a lot of power to it, and to be, honored under that name is a very powerful thing, and I just can't say enough but thank you. And our mission and goal is to continue to work in a real way and then grow the next crop of John Lewis's around the world.
Our next honoree is Reverend Spencer E. Hardaway. That's fine. Let's go ahead. Reverend Hardaway was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and he graduated from the University of Toledo with a Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration, and he earned a Master of Divinity from Weinberger Seminary. In December of this year, he will complete his Doctor of Ministry. Amen. Reverend Hardaway is a retired Lieutenant Colonel of the United States Army Airborne and an Iraqi war veteran. And he is also a lifetime member of Kappa Alpha Psi. He's been married for 46 years to Anita J. Bounds Hardaway. They have 3 adult daughters, 2 sons-in-law, 6 grandchildren, and 3 adoptive great-nephews and 1 great-niece. Reverend Hardaway is the pastor of Rock Hill Missionary Baptist Church in the historic Shiloh community. He is the executive director of Project Lighten Up Summer Learning Academy, after-school action program for excellence, and 5-day before-school pre-K program. And I also believe some of the participants in those programs are here with us today. Well, thank you for coming on. Amen. There we go. Reverend Hardaway is also a member of the Baptist Ministers Union, Interdenominational Ministers Alliance, the Mud Creek Missionary Baptist Association, and the Shiloh Community Association. He's on the board of directors of Habitat for Humanity, the Buncombe Partnership for Children, the Council of Aging, as well as previously serving on the boards of directors for the Neighborhood Advisory Committee, Parks and Recreation, and Asheville Buncombe Community Relations Council. On a personal note, Reverend Hardaway's reset motto has been the motto of my family for 3 generations. His motto is Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. I present to you our 2024 John Lewis Award honoree, Reverend Spencer Hardaway.
I'm very grateful to be honored with the John Lewis Award, and I appreciate the Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County for recommending me and giving me this honor. John Lewis was an advocate for social change, for social justice, and civil rights. And I want to be a part of making our community a difference. I'm an advocate for social justice, for civil rights, for educational reforms and educational opportunities. And I believe that everyone, given the opportunity, can reach the highest potential that God has placed within them. So again, thank you for this award. Thank Orly Simmons for being the president and founder of the Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County, the whole staff, all those who were in the process of recommending me and honoring me. I appreciate my wife, appreciate all the other organizations, our support that we get for our programs that we do. Again, we advocate learning and learning opportunities for young people from kindergarten on up to high school and through college. Again, so thank you, bless you. Again, I appreciate it. And as my motto says, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not into thy own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And we believe that our young people have the great potential, and if we encourage them and give them educational opportunities, they will rise and reach the stars. They have great potential, and we want them to live up to the highest potential that God has placed within them. Thank you, Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County, for this award, and I appreciate it, and I support you. Thank you.
Our third honoree is the Honorable Calvin Hill. Judge Hill's career is one of a trailblazer. He grew up in Cross Hill, South Carolina. In 1989, he graduated from Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. And in 1994, he earned his law degree at North Carolina Central University's School of Law. He passed the North Carolina bar exam and began his career in the prestigious Durham law firm of C.C. Buddy Malone. In 1995, he moved to Asheville, where he became a public defender, becoming the first African-American lawyer in Buncombe County's Public Defender's Office in about 20 years. In 2007, he was elected by his fellow attorneys president of the District 28, which is Buncombe County. He was elected the president of District 28's Bar Association. He was the first African-American elected to this position in the district's 100-plus years of existence. Also in 2007, former Governor Mike Easley appointed Judge Hill to the 28th District Court bench, and he was the second African-American to serve in this position. Then in 2010, former North Carolina Chief Justice Sarah Parker appointed Judge Hill Chief District Court Judge of Buncombe County, and he has been reappointed by the 3 subsequent North Carolina Chief Justices. In 2015, he was appointed to serve on the North Carolina Commission on Administration of Law and Justice. While in 2020, he helped start Asheville's School Justice Partnership, which is an agreement between the court system, law enforcement, and academics to try several counseling and mentoring interventions to keep kids out of the court system. This is in keeping with his advice to young people. Education is irreplaceable. You've got to have it, and so much of it is possible. It is expensive, but not having an education is a lot more costly. Whether you are a religious person or a spiritual person, just remember there is a power greater than you. There is no replacement for motivation, self-discipline, hard work, and confidence. Remember, if you enjoy success, it's not all because of your hard work. There is that degree of karma whereby people are willing to help you succeed. I present to you our 2024 John Lewis Award honoree, the Honorable Calvin Hill.
It is a great privilege to get this John Lewis Award from Dr. Simmons and her MLK organization. I've admired Dr. Simmons and John Lewis from afar for many years, and it is really my great pleasure to receive this award. Thank you very much.
Our last award recipient honoree is Kenyon Lake. Kenyon was born and raised in Asheville. In 1996, he graduated from North Carolina Central University with a degree in sports medicine. And after a brief professional basketball career overseas, he returned to Asheville, where he has always worked, either as a child social worker or a community engagement social worker. Kenyon is an author, a mentor, social worker, a radio host, and public speaker. In 2012, inspired by the life and community service work of his father, Benny Lake, Kenyon founded My Daddy Taught Me That, and he's been running the program on a volunteer basis ever since. My Daddy Taught Me That is a year-long program designed to support the development, uplift, and education of youth and young males. The organization's focus is to teach young men how to transition from the young teen, adolescent time into their lives as responsible young men, focusing on good decision-making, accepting responsibility, and being accountable for their actions. The program was originally created to serve 6th to 12th grade boys between the ages of 12 and 19. The program has expanded to include boys in 1st through 5th grades between the ages of 6 and 11. But there's also now a girls program entitled My Sister Taught Me That. Altogether, this nonprofit community action program works with between 160 and 170 young people in our community. In 2021, Kenyon received the Trailblazer Award from the North Carolina Fatherhood Conference, and in 2023, the North Carolina Gang Investigation Association voted My Daddy Taught Me That the Program of the Year. Unfortunately, Kenyon cannot be with us this afternoon, and I'll be accepting the award on his behalf. and I'm going to meet with him later on in the week to actually give him his award. But I think this quote from an essay that he wrote for the Spark Foundation captures his passion for the community. He wrote, "While statistics, data, and numbers talk in great detail about the opportunity gaps and that things have improved, I'll simply say some of our youth are still fighting to get off their blocks and the street corner, while youth around the world are preparing to leave the planet and explore space." Let that sink in. Education is the key to help our own kids shoot for the stars. Our 2024 John Lewis Award honoree, Kenyon Lake. If all our honorees would come on up for a group picture, if you bring your award with you and gain a picture with Dr. Simmons. Everybody get there? Everybody get? Okay, thank you. I think we should give our honorees another round of applause. I now would like to introduce Dr. Carlton Smith. He is the chair of our MLK Association Scholarship Committee, and he's going to come forward with an announcement. And then after Dr. Smith, he'll be followed by Dr. Simmons, who will be giving some closing remarks, and then I'll come in to sum everything up. Dr. Smith.
All right, thank you. I hope your hands aren't hurting too much, because I just want one more round of applause for our winners and our awardees tonight. So my name is Dr. Carlton Smith. I serve as the chair of the MLK Association Scholarship Committee. I wanted to come and just talk a little bit about the scholarship process. To let you know, one, the scholarship application window is open right now. So we do have digital applications as well as a few printed copies here that will be in the back for you all to pick up. These applications are due on April 24th, and they can either be mailed to us or emailed to the address for that. Some of the big things that you would need to know if you're planning on applying, or if you have a student that is interested in applying. The minimum GPA is 2.5. The due date is April 24th, and we do ask for a 1 to 2 page essay that's really themed around this exact prompt. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. espoused and encouraged justice, equality, and unity for all in a peaceful way. How have your actions emulated the work of Dr. King by keeping hope in challenging times? And so we do ask that all of our applicants reflect on their actions, their life thus far, and use that in their essay. These essays will come to us, and a community panel will award the scholarship amounts. We've had amounts varying as high as $10,000, but often they average in the $1,500 to $2,500 range. As someone who did receive a scholarship back when I did undergrad, being able to not worry about buying X amount of textbooks or being able to feed myself for a week is a godsend. So please feel free to spread the word, spread these applications around, and we do communicate with the local Asheville Buncombe County School District as well. So if you're a student enrolled in any of the high schools in the area, ask your teachers, ask around for that as well. We will have some application copies back here in that back table at the end during our reception today, so I do encourage you all to pick up a copy. If not, I will hang out for a few minutes after the reception today, and I can give you some information. That way we can stay in contact, and I can get you a digital copy. Thank you all so much again, and one last round of applause for our honorees. Thank you.
I offer my congratulations to all of the awardees, and please get into good trouble. The beautiful framed posters in the windows are for you. I hope that you will find a place of honor in your home or in your office. These are compliments of Miss Mary Proctor right here, one of my dear neighbors and friends. So thank you very much for this gift, for this occasion. I'd like to thank, and we'll see that you get them before you leave. Do we also have a little pocket card for them? Okay, there's another gift here, and also please remember to take your boxes with you. I know you don't want to damage that beautiful trophy on the way home. Yes, congratulations. Thank you very much to Jonathan McCoy, chair of our Coke program, for this wonderful event for today. Thank you for all of your time and your service. I'd like to recognize the members of the Martin Luther King Association board that's here with us tonight. Sarah Thornburg, Vanessa Funderburg, David King. Oh, please rise. Please rise. I just appreciate you and thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you very much to Aisha and Rafia Adams of the Aisha Adams Media Group for their work in reserving Black Wall Street AVL to host this event. This is in addition to their quality and professional promotion and coverage of the award ceremony and reception. Joy Hill and Sweet Joy's Kitchen for the delicious food provided for the reception. Miss Rebecca Pickens and Asheville Awards and Gifts for the beautifully crafted John Lewis Award plaques. If you would please look on the back of your program, we'd like to share with you all of our sponsors for all of our activities throughout the year. We thank you so very much to the 2024 sponsors that are listed. You have final words? Okay. Then we're going to the reception.
Yes, we're about to go to. Usually everyone looks for extra programs, so extra programs are available if you want one, or of course are out there in the seats too, so feel free to take as many as you want to mail to friends or to frame for yourself. Again, to think of the Rosa Parks Award will be March 19th, which is a Tuesday. It'll be at 5:30, so same time. It'll be at the same place here at Black Wall Street. The reason we do John Lewis in February is not because of his birthday, it's because it's Black History Month. And the reason we do Rosa Parks in March is because that's Women's History Month. And so we thought that was a good way to highlight that honor. And we highlight the honor of Rosa Parks because, again, you cannot have a movement that we had with the Civil Rights Movement that has gone on as long, even before Dr. King and even after Dr. King, without the presence, the power, and effort of women. They've always been the unsung heroes in our society, and so we wanted to make sure that we highlight women's involvement and leadership. And so that's why we have the Rosa Parks Awards in March. And again, it'll be March 19th at 5:30 here at this space. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for making the time and effort. Thank you for the effort of our honorees as they continue to go on and still lead by living. And again, remember for our honorees, the three posters there in the frames, and there's also a smaller version card that's on the front of them, so there's actually two little posters there. And the blue boxes was Dr. Simmons were talking about that fit for your plaques. I hope everyone has a safe night, a safe trip home, and I look forward to seeing you again soon around town. Take care.